Well, hey, everybody. Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Just checking to make sure everybody can hear me and see me. Good evening. Hello, Mark Sunbird Acres, Patrick, Gregory, Mountain Hunter, Blue Jones, Lisa, Kitty. Hey, Kitty. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Lisa. Excellent. I'm glad you guys all found your way over here. I really do appreciate it. I really do. Okay. Why don't we chat amongst ourselves just a minute? Give us a little bit of time, get a few more people. Why don't I like to start and then have people come in? Hey, Courtney, how are you, darling? Blue Jabones. How do you Blue Jabones, huh? Blue Jabones. That's cool. I like that. Hey, Gabby, how are you? Ben, nice to see you. Hello, Cynthia. Hey, Grizz. Very cool. Thanks, Gregory. Yes, it would be nice if people hit the like button. Not absolutely necessary, but always appreciated. You like that? I kind of trimmed the beard down a little bit. It was getting a little out of hand. And, hey, Johanna, just because we're some little hill rat up here in a cabin in Alaska is no reason that we can't do a little manscaping. Thought it was time to roll in that wild beast and get a bit of control over it. So that's all I did. I did that with the trimmer, and that was hard enough. I wasn't going to try to go any more and shave with just one hand. Grizz says, Grandpa, I want to give you a tip. Okay, I'll take 50 cents. Hi, Christine. I look spiffy, huh? Okay, well, thank you, Lisa. How was the storm for you Saturday? It was a mess here in Oregon and nothing. We didn't have any storm whatsoever on Saturday, Courtney. American Liberty Fire. Grandpa, how's the shoulder? Well, here's a little preview. That tell you about what the shoulder looks like? I'm pretty beat up and bruised. In fact, I'm sitting here. You'll notice I'm not going to use my right arm very much. I have it sitting on the armrest next to me. I'm trying to let it, just trying to let it rest. Thank you, Teresa. Okay. But I'm alive and I'll be fine. Hey, T, thanks. I am feeling a little better. Track Authority videos, nice to see you here. Welcome. Cynthia didn't know the story. Hey, Rhonda, how you doing, darling? Congratulations. All right, let me get my notes here. Okay. As I typically do, I want to do a quick rundown of what happened this past week. All right, Kitty's giving Ben a warning. Thank you. A little bit about the videos that I did this past week. For those of you that didn't see it, I did a video for my sons, a little bit of the drone action, plus playing with the dogs. Guys, I got to tell you something. Lily has an absolute blast, and I have to admit I do too, playing with her with the drone. I chase her, she chases it. In the video I put up, you'll notice there at one point she got a little too close to it, and the blades came around and whacked her. They're just plastic. They didn't hurt her, but they did scare her. 2 minutes later, she was out chasing it right afterwards again. It didn't bother her that much, but she does have a newfound respect for it when it comes after her now. So, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun with the drone, playing with the dog. A lot of you guys saw me do my video where I finished the bacon that we started in a live stream a couple weeks back. And I'm sorry we didn't have a live stream last week. Probably should have, but couldn't get that organized. The bacon came out absolutely awesome, as it always does. And Rhonda Frayne, who's in the house here watching, Rhonda won the pound. Unfortunately, due to circumstances, I still have not got that shipped. I was going to ship it to her and then couldn't get to the post office, and I hurt my shoulder. And I had her address in my cell phone. It got drowned, so I had to get a new phone. Not happy. I had to get one of these things. It's the new iPhone 7, but it's not the S. It's not the big one. It's small. It is slippery. It is really slippery. Like, I mean, like I'm thinking about putting double-sided tape or something on it because it just jumps out of my hand. I don't want to ruin another one. $800. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. But the bacon came out awesome, and I will be going to the post office tomorrow and mailing that to Rhonda, so she'll have it pretty soon. But it came out great. So, and if any of you guys didn't get the whole thing, I do have it all in the video. It all is explained in there. And I just think it came out great. I love making my own bacon that way. What's interesting is when I make my bacon that way, it doesn't all shrivel up in the pan like store-bought bacon does. I don't know why. I guess because the store-bought bacon, you know, they soak it in water and let it suck up and absorb water. So when you're cooking it, it shrinks. It cooks all the water out. My bacon doesn't have that because of the way I smoke it. So it just really comes out good. So, yeah, Rhonda, I'm glad you won. I think you'll enjoy it. But if you don't, let me know. You know, I won't be upset. But it came out really good. So, anyhow, then I did a video called Enjoy It While You Can, talking about the family and not being there for Sunday dinner. My wife, Johanna's in the chat here. She can tell you that Sunday's dinner was always kind of a big thing in our family. So we enjoyed having everybody together all at one time and the extended family, and I kind of miss that. But we'll get back to that. We will get there again. It's something for me to work forward to. It's a goal that I have set for myself. So I will get back to that. Yeah, Teresa, you mentioned the fact that it's waterproof. The new iPhone 7 is waterproof. It's one of the reasons why I got this one. My iPhone 6S apparently was not waterproof. And when I dumped the four-wheeler and hurt the shoulder, I ended up being underneath the four-wheeler down in a puddle of water in the tire tracks. It was actually about 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep. And the four-wheeler rolled over on top of me, so I had to kick it off of me and then get it right back on. And anyhow, I lost the cell phone. So, okay. I also did a video. I really went outside of my comfort zone. I was watching a video done by Casey Neistat where he said he was voting for Hillary Clinton, and it just bothered me. The very next video in my feed was one done by Wrangler Star where he said he was voting for Donald Trump, and that motivated me to move on and go ahead and do that. Castle Dove says, thanks for the pics. When I'm done, I'll have to send you one. Okay, Castle, you got the pics. Good. I was wondering about that. I'm glad you got them. So anyhow, so I went outside my comfort zone and I did a video about who I was voting for, and that I was going to vote for Donald Trump. And my reasonings for that. And I want to tell you something. That video went viral compared to the rest of my videos for little viral. My little channel, it went viral from my little channel. And I've had 11,297 views on that one. So it immediately went to #1 in my list of most viewed videos, which I thought was pretty interesting. I will tell you that I was really pleased and surprised at the number of people that were positive, and shocked at how few people were vicious and nasty in responding to that. I anticipated having a lot more people cursing and jumping up and down and yelling and screaming and threatening death, murder, and strangulation, and very little of that actually occurred. So I was real pleased by that. I was kind of surprised. Now, there were a few, and I had to delete some comments from people, some profanity. Some of it I deleted just because of the words that they used in it. Can't use any of the Heavy 7 or any of their derivatives in here, but it was interesting to do that. But here's the problem. I then did another video where I posted a poll where people could get up, watch the video, and then they could choose who they wanted to vote for. And here's what I thought was really odd was 77% of the people on my little poll, and there's been, I don't know, a few hundred people is all it's been so far. And I'm sure it's biased because of the people that watch my channel and follow me, but still, 77% of the people said they were going to vote for Trump. 8% of the people said they were going to vote for Hillary, and 7% said they were going to vote for Gary Johnson. And surprisingly, only one person noticed that I was missing one of the candidates. They didn't even know who it was. So we only had 5 options in there, and we had 6 people running for president. So here's the thing. I did my poll, and in my poll, 77% of the people said they were voting for Donald Trump. At the same time, I think it was my son posted a poll that was being displayed on MSNBC. And on MSNBC's poll, 85% of the people said they would not vote for Hillary. That's the way it was worded. Would you not vote for Hillary? 85% of the people said they would not vote for Hillary. In my poll, a total of 92% of the people would not vote for Hillary. 77% said they were going to vote for Trump, but 92%, since only 8 people said they would vote for, 92% of the people are not voting for. Simple math. So if my poll had it at 92 and the MSNBC poll, which by the way had some 350,000 people vote on that poll, said that they were at 85%, why are the national polls showing this being a close race? Why is everybody saying this is going to be 50-50? I don't understand why all the national polls, all the newspapers, the media, all these other polls that you hear about are actually showing Hillary ahead. They're saying Hillary is, 45 to his 38 or 44 to his 41 or something. They all seem to be very skewed, and I don't understand why it's so skewed. That doesn't seem to make much sense to me. So I don't know if maybe it makes sense to you guys, but it didn't make much sense to me. It bothers me, and that's the reason why I put that video up with the poll. It bothers me that we can't trust anybody, seems like today. There's no honesty anywhere anymore with this. And it's hard to make a decision when you can't get good information. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's hard to make any kind of intelligent decision unless you have good facts. And we don't have good facts because it seems like everything is skewed. And that's why I did my own video, was just to see how it is. Sure, I know it's biased towards Trump because my viewers are biased toward Trump. But still, and I was proud to see that at least 8 of the people were saying, hey, they were going to vote for Hillary. So I'm glad that I wasn't all 100% just Trump. I'm glad to see that we have some people out there. Hey, Miss Teen 71, how you doing? Anyhow, I just found it very interesting. Did you see that Diebold voting on Facebook? It tested a random voting machine. Rhonda, I did not see that. I'll have to get on there and check that. I did not see that. I'll make a note of that. I do not use any of the regular news sources. Yeah, Gregory, I try not to either. Grandpa here in Oregon, Portland, and Eugene has the majority of votes. They're liberals in support of Hillary. Most cities are that way. And I think you're right, Grizz. I think there's a definite line drawn between urban and urban people, country folks versus city folks. There's a very definite difference there. What can I tell you? I guess if people are dumb enough to live in a city, they're gonna vote poorly too. I don't know why anybody would live in a city. I know probably some of you guys do for whatever reason. Your life requires you to, but I think everybody on here certainly. And if I'm wrong and you feel differently, please say so. But I think almost anybody on here is going to say they prefer living out in the country. Anybody on here that likes living in the city, you're probably in the wrong video. But I don't know. We will get to that. So, all right. So the other thing I wanted to get to, was just to ask you guys some questions about the election and whether or not you think I was that far out of line by talking about politics on my channel. I was uncomfortable doing that. There's a serious absence of any kind of POTUS candidate yard signs in Central Ohio. Yeah, I'm surprised at how many Hillary supporters are going around taking down Trump signs, and I imagine Trump supporters are taking down Hillary signs as well. So, Kitty says you weren't bothered by it either way. Okay. Does anybody have a slant on that thinks I should have or should have stayed out of it? Then please comment on there and let me know. My channel, my choice of topics. Okay. Clintons are in control of the news. Yeah. Heck no, your channel, do what you want. Okay. No, speak your mind. Okay, son, I will. All right. Well, as I've said from the very beginning, the whole purpose of this channel here on YouTube is so that I can share information in a media that records it, so that my grandchildren or great grandchildren can view this later on and get a sense for who their grandfather was and what his life was all about. And so I appreciate your patience with me and letting me get off on some tangents from time to time so that I can give a full experience to them and not just, Grandpa the homesteader. That I can do something else outside of the box, as it were. So, very cool. I can see you guys support my choice, so very good. My only thing in life is always stay true to who you are. Very good, T. I appreciate that. And I do try to stay true to who I am. So, with that said, I wanted to move over into the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about. Well, I didn't want to talk about, but people have been asking, and so I thought you should. But it's going to be kind of the topic of our chat today. I messed up this past week. Old Grandpa screwed up big time. I did a number of things wrong. I made a number of very small decisions that could have had catastrophic results. I was doing some research on going caribou hunting in the hills here next to me. I found out that during the wintertime, I can go up into the Talkeetna Hills here, and there's a good population of caribou. And there's a trail up here about not quite 20 miles that way north of me, where I can get onto a trailhead and head out into the mountains. And I decided to go ahead by myself on my four-wheeler without my bag on the back, which has all of my survival stuff in it now. And I had my handgun with me and my camera up on my head, which I didn't have turned on correctly. I had the camera facing backwards, so I got great video footage of the inside of the harness. Anyhow, so my bad decision was to go over there by myself, to do it when it was in freezing temperatures. And then I started heading up this trail, which at first was in pretty good shape, and it kept getting in worse and worse shape as I progressed. I found a lot of little side trails that had been made, and I was taking some of those side trails. What's the mileage range on my ATV? I can go about 40 miles on my four-wheeler without carrying an extra gas can. Maybe a little more than that. I've not tested it yet. I guess that trip kind of tested it. But so anyhow, I rode it up there and went out on that trail. And, I filled up at the trailhead, and I was like, okay, I've got 10 sections on my fuel. I can only go up through 3 of them, and then I need to have enough fuel to get back. So, anyhow, so my bad decision making was that I went up this trail, and I went to turn up off of this trail to get up into one of these little side roads. And right where I was doing it, there was deep ruts in the ground from four-wheelers and vehicles that were full of water, so I didn't know how deep they were. And so I just turned left and tried popping up onto the trail on the side. And as I turned and, oh, shouldn't have done that. As I turned and popped up onto the side, the four-wheeler fell to the side, knocked me down into the ditch. That's where I did all that damage, and, well, a lot more to the rest of the shoulder. I'm not going to get naked here for you to see it. And then the four-wheeler kind of rolled down on top of me. Fortunately, I am a great big guy, and so I have very strong legs, and I was able to push the four-wheeler off of me. It wasn't completely on me. It was kind of sideways onto me, but I was able to push it off of me. Now, I did not have a helmet on. Actually, I had this hat on, which has been through the wash a couple times now to get it clean. I had this hat on with a camera. I did not have a helmet on. I got dumped off into freezing cold water. I did not have a change of clothes with me. My cell phone was in my right pants pocket, which went into the water. It got ruined, so I could not call for any kind of services to get me out. And I put myself in a situation that could have been life-threatening. It was stupid of me. Had I not been able to get that four-wheeler off the top of me, if when I fell over and I hit the ditch, I actually hit the side of the ditch, the frozen ground, and then slid in the mud down into the water. Had I hit that with my head instead of my shoulder, I could have been knocked unconscious and could have drowned right there. So I made a number of mistakes. I should not have been that remote by myself. I should have had my bag with me with all of my backup equipment, my safety bag on there in the back, which I didn't have. So I had no ability of changing clothes because it was below freezing out there. In fact, when I hit the water, there was ice on top of the water. So I put myself in a life-threatening situation, and I should not have done that. But it was a simple thing. I mean, I was just out riding my four-wheeler. I was having fun. Who would have thought that I could have killed myself doing something like that? But you can. And it turned out in the end it was fine. You know, I righted the four-wheeler, I got on it, and I drove it back out of there, and I actually shot a grouse on the way out. Didn't realize how bad my shoulder was at the time, but I did get a grouse with my Glock 10 millimeter, and breasted it out and brought it out with me. And I drove home, and I was freezing cold when I got here, and I pulled up and I came in the door. Fortunately, the heat was still going, and the first thing I did as soon as I stepped in the door is I stripped naked, got all the clothes off of me, wiped off some of the dirt best I could, and put on some warm clothes. Then I headed over to the place where I go to take a shower, and I took a nice hot shower. Tried to clean all the mud off of me. And then came back home and tried to clean up the mess. Well, my shoulder really started hurting worse and worse as the evening went on, and the next morning it was really bad. So spoke to the doc. It's all fine. It's collarbone up here is broken. That's what broke. I've broken it before. Nothing they could do about it. You should have had a boat horn, air horn, or old-fashioned. Yeah, Gabby, I keep noise-making stuff in my pack that I didn't have with me, that I normally have on the back of my four-wheeler. But see, this is the thing. I made a whole bunch of decisions that were very small and in and of themselves were inconsequential. But when you put it all together, it ended up being a real problem. I shouldn't have been by myself. I should have brought my bag with me with my backup gear, with my emergency gear on me. I should have had a helmet on. A lot of little small bad decisions could have really hurt me. So here's the thing, okay? You guys are homesteaders. What do? I'm up here in Alaska by myself. Now here I'm laid up. I can't really do very much with this shoulder. Surprisingly, if I hold the arm out straight, it can hold weight. I can hold weight straight down. Like I can Surprisingly, I can kind of carry a bucket a little bit with that hand as long as I have it straight down at my side. For some reason, the bones are just in the right position. It doesn't seem to hurt that much. I can't carry a full bucket, but a half bucket I can. Carl, really medical here? What do you think I would do? Well, see, there's the problem. What do you do? My pigs still need to be fed and watered. The poultry still needs to be fed and watered. I still have work to do. I here by myself, so I got to feed myself, and I got to get up and do what I got to do. There's no, just sitting back and putting on my my strap. I have a little strap. Let me show that to you. I took a part of a gunsling and I put that on and I hooked my hand through it. And that's the way I walk around. Okay, that's my sling. This is all they could do for it. This is what the doctor said. Put a sling on your arm. And why I use the sling isn't so much to keep the arm up. The problem with the sling, it just reminds me to not use the hand because I keep trying to use it. Okay, did you get any pain pills or medication from the doctor? I did not get any pain meds other than I take a little ibuprofen, but I've even stopped taking that. I took some ibuprofen the first day or two. I have elevated liver enzymes. I've had a bad back my whole life. I've taken too much Tylenol and other pain medications my entire life, and that's caused me some liver issues. So I no longer take pain meds if I can help it. So what do you do as a homesteader? What do you guys do if you get hurt? How are you going to take care of your critters? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today was you need to get things. Now everybody found out that my son Gone Prepping yes, Gone Prepping is my son Carl James. He is my eldest. And his mother, Johanna, is on here as well. Why didn't the doctor give you a brace? T, there's no brace for a broken collarbone. They have a figure 8 that they can do, which is they take a little sausage and it just pulls your shoulders back. But with this particular break, that isn't going to work. And if I had that, I have no way of getting it on or off because it's just me. I don't have anybody to help me. So I would be stuck in it if they put it on. I do not have family up here. They're all down in Ohio because I'm in the process of going through a divorce. So my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, is living in Florida, and my daughter's in London, and I just evicted my in-laws. So I'm kind of on my own. But see, there's the problem, guys. You can't count on somebody else. Okay, you need to be able to have the mindset, the work ethic, the mental fortitude to say, pigs got to get fed. I got to carry 2 5-gallon buckets of water to them twice a day. I got to carry feed out to them. I've got to unload 50-pound bags. I've got 3 bags of feed in the back of my truck right now. I got to get those unloaded and get them into the feed barrels. So what do you do when you have those situations? Everybody on this Homestead network or these other homesteaders talk about, well, what if you're in a shit hits the fan situation? Well, here's a shit hit the fan situation. The world may not have ended, but now what do you do? Home place, I'm reading your post there. I understand. Yeah, it does hurt like hell all the time. And that's what you do. You just, you grit your teeth and you bear it. Can I hook up a hose to water the animals? T, I'm in Alaska. It would freeze. You can't use garden hoses up here this time of year. It was 8 degrees the other morning. Today it got to a high of 37. but it was down around 20. I feed and water in the morning. The hoses would be frozen solid. Even if I were to use the hose, run the water, disconnect the hose, and bring the hose back into the cabin, I live in a tiny 16-foot by 16-foot cabin. I don't have any place to store a hose in here. Yeah, I would have to drain it every time. Even with draining it, I'd still have to pull it in here because if I took it outside, the plastic would freeze and break. So garden hoses aren't really good. So what I do is I use 5-gallon buckets, and instead of making one trip, I make two. I fill them halfway, and I lighten my load, and I make 2 trips. So you can do permanent damage if you don't not use an injury. Yeah, actually, what the conversations were that I had with the physician, who's a friend of mine, was that he says if it hurts, don't do it. If it hurts a lot, actually is what he said. If it hurts a lot, don't do it. If it hurts a little, that's okay. If it doesn't hurt, certainly go ahead and do it. If it hurts a lot, don't do it. What about garbage pails near the animals with bricks on them? Garbage pails near the animals with bricks on them. You mean garbage pails that I could fill full of water? What would stop the garbage pails from freezing? Garbage pails near the animals would freeze. See, a lot of these people, I kind of laugh at some of these guys in lower 48, and they put out these nipple waters for pigs and these little cup waters for chickens and stuff. We can't do any of that stuff up here. Everything freezes. So, for the food's not a problem. I have feed barrels out there. I can put the feed in the feed barrels. I can scoop the feed out and feed them. I just do everything left-handed. Feed isn't the problem. Carrying water buckets was the problem. But just getting up and going outside and doing it is a problem. It hurts. And I'm lucky that this was my right shoulder. What if this was my hip? What if this was a leg that got hurt and I couldn't walk, or worse yet, I had to be outside on crutches? I could not imagine what it would be like in the wintertime to be trying to walk around out here with the snow and ice all over the ground on crutches, trying to figure out how I'm going to water the animals. So it's a serious question, and why I thought it was an important subject matter for us to think about. Now, your situation is certainly different than mine. As far as I know, I'm about the only person that lives this far north, and that would be in this issue. So yeah, so it makes a difference. T, can you pull a wagon? Actually, T, what I've been doing is I've been taking 5-gallon buckets and filling them up. But again, I'm only using one hand. So I lift them up and I put them up on the front of my 4-wheeler. And then I use my 4-wheeler to move over by the pigs. And then I take them off, and then I try to dump them by using the fence as a base and dump them off of that. You learn to get around stuff. Now, here in the wintertime, once we have snow on the ground, which we don't have yet, which is really surprising, we should normally do by now, I've got a utility sled, and I'll put the buckets on the utility sled and drag the water on the sled behind me. So you've got the water figured out, figure out the next one. No, I've got actually everything figured out. I'm just saying, what are you guys going to do if that happens to you? You need a old fogey scooter with a bucket hook. Yeah, I do. That would work. Yeah, and again, guys, I'm not pulling or pushing anything with my right arm, which is the one that's hurt. I'm doing everything with the left. Can Lily help you some? Lily helping. Oh, that's rich. That's rich. No, Lily is a pain in the butt. Literally, even though I'm using the 4-wheeler to transport the water, when I try to get on and off of the 4-wheeler, she grabs my foot and pulls my foot on me. She is the opposite of anything helpful on the farm. Absolutely the opposite. She runs back and forth in front of the 4-wheeler. I'm always afraid I'm going to try to run her over. Sometimes when I go out to do chores, I actually lock her in her crate just so I don't have to deal with her. So I would use a wagon for we get frozen pipes here in Long Island. Oh, that's right, T. You're on Long Island, aren't you? Where are you on Long Island again? because, you know, I used to live in Port Washington on the North Shore there on Long Island. Bobcat, the machine, not the animal. Yeah, Bobcat would be nice, Rhonda, but I don't fit in them. I've rented them before and had to have my soon-to-be ex-wife run it because I simply couldn't fit in the machine. I'm just too big. So, and that's, you know, that's one situation where being too big was a problem. The other side of that is I'm a big enough guy. My legs were strong enough. I could just push the four-wheeler off of me. I'm in Islip Terrace down by the bay. Oh, cool. T, I have a sister, Linda, who lives in, oh, right now I'm going to forget. I want to say Belmont, that's not it. She lives in Bayshore. She lives in Bayshore, in that area. Not too far from Islip. So you're just south of the airport there in Islip. I know that area well. I actually grew Brentwood. Yes, Carl, thank you. My sister Linda's in Brentwood. Yep, not too far from you. And all of my nephews, she had 3 sons, and all of them are right in and around that neighborhood, Brentwood, Islip area. They're all in that neighborhood. So you're right in the old home ground. In fact, one of my favorite restaurants is not too far from you, T, and that is Vincent's Clam Bar. Actually, I prefer the original Vincent's on the corner of Mott and Hester Street in New York. But there's another one out there in that area of Long Island that we would go to and eat from time to time. Any hot springs on the property? Oh, home place, I wish. No. No, I have no water on the property whatsoever except for my well. I am giving some serious consideration, however, to buying a hot tub and setting one up here on the property. It would be difficult to do that, but I'm giving some serious consideration to it. Going over and to the place where I shower and taking a nice hot shower, as I did a little bit ago, seems to have the best therapeutic result on the shoulder, but just going to take time. Doc says 12 weeks, so I figure I'll probably be done in a lot less than that. I've broken this collarbone before, so this is kind of old school for me. South of the highway, Osney. Okay. I haven't followed that long. Do you have a wood stove for heat? Yes, Mark, I do heat with wood. And that's sort of been another issue because it's very difficult for me to split kindling. I have all my firewood split, but then during the winter I make my kindling as I go, and I suck with my left hand with an axe. I really do. It's very difficult to split kindling left-handed. I'm like a spaz with my left hand. So the Osney Diner. Okay. I don't remember the Osney Diner. Huh. But yeah, so I do heat with wood. I also have a very small little 1500 watt electric heater, which is what I've been plugging in right now. And it's been doing the job and helping me out, so I'm not having to go through so much firewood. Only lighting one fire in the morning and then letting that go all day. And so when I get up in the morning, I make a fire, but that's it. I'm not using very much kindling. Heat the hot tub with a simple wood stove. They work great and feel amazing. Yeah, yeah, a hot tub may be an idea. I've been giving that some serious consideration and having one delivered. The only problem that I have with hot tubs is I like to take a shower before getting in it or after getting out of it, certainly. And I don't have a shower here, so I'd have to run to the place where I go take showers. I take showers at a local truck stop over here. So I live in a dry cabin. For those of you that aren't aware, I live in a 16-foot by 16-foot dry cabin up here on my 80 acres in Alaska. Have you thought of alternative heat sources? Teresa, I have wood and electric. So those are my 2 alternative heat sources. I can also put the oven on and open the door to the oven. Keep in mind, it's a very small cabin. It does not take much to heat my cabin. I usually only burn about a quart of firewood a winter because I have a very small cabin. So I'm not heating a big house. Oh, Gabby talking about the hot dog place. The hot dog place that you're talking about is Grace's Hot Dogs out at aisle 70, at exit 70 on the Long Island Expressway. And she used to have just a little hot dog stand there, and now she's actually built a restaurant there. It's really nice. One of my favorite places. I would drive all the way out to Grace's just for hot dogs. Teresa, you need at least 3. Teresa, I can always bring a propane heater in. I don't have one permanently installed. I do have camp type heaters and stuff that I can bring in as a backup if I need to. And typically with wood, you really don't need much backup for wood. Wood usually is the backup. Grandpa, do you know anyone with a kid, teenager, who could help for a couple of weeks? Courtney, I do not. I live in a very remote area. We don't have a big population base around here. And frankly, I really don't need help. I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, it's a little difficult for me to get around and it hurts, but I'm fine. I don't need help. This could have been a whole lot worse. And if it was, yeah, there's folks, I'm sure, in the neighborhood that would be happy to come over and help me out. But I'm fine. It just begs the question, if this had been worse, what would people do? How would you get around, you know? Like, you know, I'm just thinking to myself, if I had fallen and broken a hip instead of breaking my shoulder, what would I be doing now? And so now is the time to think about something like that. Well, actually, before I hurt my shoulder was the time to think about that. But now is when we should be thinking about those kinds of things so we can have some kind of plan or thoughts going that would help. Rocket mass heater for shower and hot tub. Yeah, the only problem is, home place, you need to have water for that. I live in a dry cabin. I do have a water well here on the property, but as of yet, I do not have it plumbed into the cabin. And when I do plug it into the cabin, I'm going to heat it off of out of an electric hot water heater and also out of a wood stove, out of a recirculating element through a wood stove. And again, what would you do? I don't know, Teresa. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure what I would do just yet. Probably have to give up a lot of the animals, because that's the thing that is the hard thing, is going out and doing the feeding and the watering. So, you know, maybe quit raising my own animals and just, you know, go do the grocery store and do the walk of shame like everybody else. If I broke a hip, you'd be in a hospital. Well, I'd be in a hospital for a little while, but, you know, they don't keep you in there forever. And certainly couldn't afford to stay in there forever. I would be in there long enough to get out on crutches or something, and then I would come home as much as possible. Yeah. And Courtney, I am giving it TLC. That's why I've got put my brace on while we're talking here. I have my elbow sitting on my armrest over here, so it works pretty good. Home place woofers would be a great idea, but I have no place for them to stay. I don't have housing for anybody else to stay here, and certainly no room in my cabin for anybody else. So, Teresa, my one neighbor would not. I do have neighbors down the road that would be more than happy to come over and help me. They have sons that are in the 20, 25-year-old range that live with them still. They would be more than happy to come over and help me. But I'm fine. I don't need help. Okay, let me clear that up right now. Just because Grandpa's broken does not mean Grandpa needs help. Okay, I've got sufficient work ethic and ability to tolerate pain. I've had a blown out back not my entire life, but Johanna, if you're still on here, what year was it that I hurt my back? You and I were still married then. Let's see, the boys were 6 or 7, 8 maybe at that point. So I don't know, 25 years ago, I blew a disc in my back and have been in pain ever since. So yeah, if my injury had been worse, then I would have to make changes. I would have to do something different. Yes, home place, I'm aware of who the woofers are. I just don't have any housing for them. If you're going to have a woofer come, you need to provide them with a place to stay. And I don't have a place for anybody to stay. So I'm saying if your injury would have been worse. Okay, well, yeah, if it had been worse. The in-laws' place, Rhonda, is gone. Yes, the in-laws finally moved their cabin out. That factually went out this past week. So supposedly there's a video of Bill Clinton raping no, Carl, I don't think that's true. All this political nonsense, this video, that video, these women making claims against Donald or whatever. I'm sorry. And ladies, if I'm wrong, please correct me here. But if you've been assaulted by somebody or groped by somebody, you don't wait 30 years to make it public. I would think that you would speak up for yourself. At least I would hope you would. And if you did, then fine. But what is there? 6 women now that have all of a sudden come out of the woodwork 30 years later and are saying, "Oh, he groped me 30 years ago." I don't know about you guys. I don't know what I did day to day 30 years ago. I can't imagine in my life that I could think back to a day 30 years. Let me put it this way. There are very few things in my life that I can remember that far back and know exactly where I was and what I was doing. And those times are when my son Carl was born in the middle of a hurricane. We were living in New York. I had my 4-wheel drive Bronco and had to drive his mom to the hospital. This was a major life event, right? My son was born. I remember that. When my other son, Vincent, was born, I remember driving home from the hospital. He was born on the 3rd of July. I remember driving home from the hospital and watching all the fireworks as I was driving down US 33 in Ohio, heading down to our property. And I remember seeing all the fireworks and thinking, oh, great, the entire country is celebrating the birth of my son. I remember that. But there's only a couple things that I really have that. I mean, really, do you guys remember stuff like that 30 years ago? Do you guys remember some guy that made a pass at you or someone kissed you 30 years ago? Do you guys really remember that stuff? I don't. I just don't. And so I can't take that kind of stuff honestly, Watch a story about Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, so sad. Yeah, what happened to Cosby is, well, but I honestly believe Bill Cosby may have overstepped a little bit. But again, here, again, 30 years later, 20 years later, well, if it was as they are putting it, it would have taken me 30 years to do something about it. Really, Teresa? I don't know. You're pretty outspoken. I can't imagine it taking you 30 years to do something. I think if some guy were to grope you today, you'd slug him. You wouldn't wait 30 years and then say, oh, he grabbed my breast or something. Yeah, and T, I don't know if we're necessarily trained to forget the bad times. I kind of think of my brain as a file cabinet. It's just so big. In order for me to put some stuff in, other stuff's got to come out. My file cabinet is full up, and for me to put some new stuff in, I got to kick out some of the old stuff. Is kind of the way I think of it. I try to remember the important things from years ago, but who I sat next to and had a conversation with on an airplane 30 years ago, whether the armrest was up or, come on, really? 30 years later? Yeah, Teresa, it would not have taken you 30. It wouldn't have taken you 30 minutes. It wouldn't have taken you 30 seconds. I didn't know phones knew the S word. Oh, hell no. I would. Yes, Teresa, you would have. Put yourself in timeout for using a bad word, Teresa. Yeah, gee, I think you're right. I think rape victims do want to forget it. They want to go past it and get beyond it. And I'm not excusing it. Don't get me wrong. If he did the crime, he should do the time. No question about it. But Courtney says I broke the guy's nose when he grabbed my butt. Right. I mean, and you know what? Had you done that, if you had sat next to Donald Trump on an airplane and he grabbed your butt and you bloodied his nose, I'm sure he would remember that. I remember one bloody nose my mom gave me. She hit me in the nose one time when we were driving in Greece in about 1970. We got lost. It was my fault. I was using the map. and she reached over and smacked me with her, which I'm not going to do it with my right hand, and she gave me a bloody nose because she was scared. I'm not going to hurt my purry knees on some low life of a man. Okay. Yeah, so I got to think about all this political stuff that's coming out and all this fear mongering and all this hate. I mean, I think I made it pretty clear, but here's my position. I'm really embarrassed about the fact that our country couldn't find someone better to run for president than these two people. I mean, really, these are the two best people we could come up with. I mean, that's kind of I'm just amazed that we couldn't find anybody else in our country who would have done a better job, and these are the two choices that we have, is Donald and Hillary. Yeah, I know we have some other party candidates in there, but no one's really serious. I think even in my poll, Gary Johnson was only getting 7%. I'm sure if Donald wasn't such a butthead and Hillary wasn't such a criminal, he would be getting probably a lot more, or he probably wouldn't have gotten that, actually. So, I don't know. It's just disappointing, I'm so hopeful for our country. It's so optimistic for America. And it's just so disappointing to me that this is the best we can do. Sin Bober, glad you're okay, Grandpa. Stay safe. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I assume from your comment you're leaving us. You have a good day, and we'll be back on next Sunday. Sunday nights at 10 o'clock. I'm going to stick with my old time slot. I understand I'm getting some competition now for this time slot, but, that's just nonsense. So, okay, so does anybody have any questions for me about anything that we kind of went over this week? Or, Christian, exactly, Carl, right? It's shameful for us to think, well, it's not us, but the majority think those two are the best. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Those are the best we have. I'm only worried about two things: a criminal in the White House and provoking Russia over Sierra. Mark, I have to agree with you. I do have some concerns, but, Donald's been negotiating deals his entire life. I'm a real estate broker, and so I have some idea about kind of what he does for a living. I don't think he's going to start a war with Russia. I think he's going to negotiate a deal with Russia. Woody, good point. Who wouldn't sue a millionaire for assault? Right. If he assaulted you or groped you or something, you would have sued him for the money. I mean, come on, the guy spent 30 years running the Miss America pageant. He's been around sexy women for the last 30 years, and now all of a sudden somebody brings up a problem? I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. Russian thing is getting out of hand. I don't think the Russia thing is as big a deal as our media is making it out to be for the purposes of our election. I'll bet you once this election is over, you'll find the Russian thing will probably calm down pretty substantially. I have an alarm set for your live video. Well, thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate it. Can I fly the drone with one arm? No, but I can fly the drone using my strap here. It'll hold my arm up for me. So I will be doing some drone flying this week. In fact, I'm going to be doing some videos of some of my real estate listings that I have to get out and do. And so that'll get me out into some of the backcountry where it's kind of pretty. And I'll be doing some videos of some of the pretty spots out there. How far is Mount Denali from my cabin? I think I'm 50 miles or so, 50, 60 miles away from Denali. I can't quite see it because of where I'm sitting. If I sat over there about 10 feet, I could see it out my front door. It's right over that way. So, in fact, one of the other people here in the chat, I just emailed her a photograph that I took of Denali, that I took just right around the corner here. Beautiful shot looking over a pond of Denali. It's in one of my videos, actually. You guys can check that out. All right. Any other questions for me? They didn't come out of the woodwork for years over Bill Cosby. Yeah, and I don't understand that. Why would they wait? Why would people wait? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, home place, I'm beginning to wonder about that too. I do think the media is just playing us. KC, I'll try to get some drone videos out pretty soon. I have some on my channel, but I'll get some more out here pretty soon. Who do you think could have beat Hillary in the election? Boy, that's a good question. You know, if you're saying who do I think we should have had as president, I'm not in a position to answer that right now. I haven't done enough research to be able to figure that out. It would have to be a patriot, you know, Charlton Heston kind of person. So I don't know. That's a good question. I will work on that. Mark, good show, bud. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. POTUS isn't elected by the popular vote. It's the Electoral College. Yes, that's true, but hopefully the Electoral College is going to follow what the popular vote is, and if it doesn't, I think that might be the catalyst for some real problems in America. Video of Bill Clinton raping a child soon. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Clinton. Trey Gowdy. TR Outrider, Trey Gowdy. James Woods, huh? You know, actually, someone who's been really surprising me lately, Leonardo DiCaprio. How's that for off the wall, huh? Leonardo DiCaprio has been funding a lot of conservation efforts, especially in marine industry, the marine environment. And I'm really impressed with him investing his earnings back in there. Hey, Yankee Living. Someone worthwhile taking another look at. Besides just being a popular actor, Leonardo DiCaprio is starting to get active politically, and I kind of am liking some of the direction that he's going so far. I don't know enough about him to really endorse him by any chance, but I did find some of the things Leonardo's doing is pretty interesting lately. My personal opinion is someone who knows our military, knows how to run one. Just some Joe Schmo off the street with lots of disposable money is not our answer. Yeah, Teresa, I happen to agree with you. I agree with you. Gregory says the crook. Who's the crook? Leonardo crook, maybe? Leo is awesome. Yeah, I like Leo. And he is flying his jets around. I guess Leonardo has jets. I didn't know that. POTUS isn't the people's representative anyway, so we should be paying closer attention to Congress. Yes, that's absolutely true. We really should be paying closer attention. Gregory's saying Leo is a crook. Why look up his Malaysia funding? Okay, I'll have to do that. Gregory. I was not aware that he had some crooked Malaysian funding, but, you know, dealing with Malaysia makes me wonder who the crook is. I know that area. A lot of weird stuff goes on in that area. Nixon was impeached over a tape recording, and the Clintons right? Nixon was, yeah, I agree, Teresa. Just to put it out there, Chinooks are not global warming. No, actually, they're a fish, Karina. Chinook are a type of salmon. But I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Chinook winds. We used to get those in Montana. And no, they're just a normal thing for the wind to blow up out of the south occasionally. And the next judge, who would you pick? Ooh. Again, I don't have anybody that I could. A charity for Malaysia. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Well, TR Outrider, I agree with you. Actors are paid liars, but our country's had a really good experience with having Ronald Reagan as a president. He was an actor. And seeing what Leo is doing with his own money is why I thought it was interesting. Now, obviously, Greg's bringing up a charity in Malaysia I was not aware of. I'll have to research that. I've just been impressed with some of the things he's been funding in our country, especially in regards to marine conservation. So, but I'll have to do more homework, obviously. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really in a position to make any suggestions as to who we should go to. I've not done my homework sufficiently. I'm having a hard enough time keeping abreast of the people we have running for office now without thinking about, that far down the line just yet. Global warming is not real. Is evolution time what's going on in our planet? Well, Teresa, here's the thing. It's not global warming anymore. It's climate change. That's the new buzzword. And you know what, folks? If anything, climate's change. It changes. It's not a fixed, static line. I mean, temperatures go up, temperatures go down. Things run through cycles. Right now, we have a lot of rabbits here. You know what? Because we have a lot of rabbits here, next year we're going to have a lot of fox and coyotes. It's just the way those animals have a symbiotic relationship and the way they cycle. So it's okay. It's okay. All right. Well, we've wasted another hour here, if you can call it that, chatting from up here in Alaska. Just so you guys know, it is 7 p.m., 7:01 p.m. here in Alaska, and it is just now getting dark outside. It's been getting light at around 7:30 in the morning and getting dark around 7 o'clock at night now. So we're at that 12 and 12 time frame. Next couple months we're going to start getting more and more darkness. I did see some interesting northern lights. Unfortunately, I was not able to get out and videotape them, but I'm watching for them. I'm going to try to get out the cameras and videotape some of the northern lights when they happen the next time, so we can get some of that for you guys, some of that footage. Tim Canova from Florida for Prez next go round. All right, Gabby, we'll have to look at that. Last ice age was only a few thousand years ago. Yep. Oh, Teresa's wore out. Okay, Teresa. Well, Teresa and Kitty, again, I want to thank you guys for moderating for me. You've done an awesome job, as always, and I really appreciate you guys' efforts in being moderators out there. I think, if I remember correctly, I only saw one person get put in timeout. I didn't notice anybody getting kicked off. So, once again, I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought we would have had more disruptive attitudes in there, but I guess not. Well, good, Kitty. Thank you very much. Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and wrap it up? My moderators are getting tired and need to go to bed, and I still have to get dinner going for myself tonight, and I recorded the football game, so I'll rewind them and be able to watch them here in a little bit. Grandpa, don't forget about my... Oh, okay. Teresa or Kitty, could one of you guys bounce Grizz? We can't have Grizz not get bumped. He's got a track record there he's got to maintain. So somebody... He said he asked for it anyway, but we don't want to ruin his track record and have him go through a whole one without getting bumped. Ah. There you go. All right, somebody deleted Grizz and timed him out. There you go. Well, while Grizz is timed out, why don't we all go hide? I had to move my arm out of the sling. Just had to stretch it out a little bit. All right, guys. Well, look, it's been real. It's been another great week. I don't know exactly how much stuff I'm going to get done this week as far as shooting some new videos. I am going to work very hard on getting some done, but I have a lot of real estate work that I need to get done. I may do a little crossover. I may post a little bit of some of my real estate stuff on here so you guys can see a little bit about how I survive and live up here. And I don't know if any of you guys are interested in seeing what some of the property and ground looks like around here and the prices of it and stuff. I might share some of that. And if anybody has any ideas or something they want me to cover at our next live stream next Sunday, please contact me and let me know, and I'll be happy to try to address that as we go along. So, with that said, why don't we... that Diebold video is in your timeline. Okay, thanks, Rhonda. I'll take a look at that. In the meantime, you guys all have a great day, and we will try to catch you guys next week. By then, we should be a little bit closer to where we're going to be at. And well, we'll see what happens next week. Anyhow, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. And we will catch you guys all next week, okay? You guys have a good day.